It is with immense pride and admiration that I get to recognize the back-to-back State Manager of the Year, accompanied by his beautiful wife, Michaela, your 2024 State Manager of the Year, Michael Hogan.
Wow, good evening. Yes, as Todd described, I've been doing this for some time. And as you heard, I've been fortunate enough to work with great people and win top year-end honors for 8 years. Considering my new role in the company and that it's probably my last time speaking to you on this night, I figured I'd skip trying to fit in the how I did it or what motivated me into the few minutes I have with you to share. Instead, I wanted to use this opportunity to give thanks and express my appreciation to so many people who have helped me personally and professionally these last 10 years. First and most importantly, I'd like to thank God for his blessings in my life and thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for his sacrifice and guidance. I've never spoken much about faith in a professional setting, and I'm not sure if it's just because maybe my personal faith wasn't strong enough, or it was because I was nervous on how it would be received. But what I do know is that while there's no doubt many people with different beliefs and different faiths here with us tonight, the act of having faith in something greater than yourself has become the most important and fulfilling personal journey, and a journey I'd recommend for anyone who's not yet chosen to walk down that path. Of course, I need to thank my wonderful wife, Michaela, who we made a pact because she knows if I talk about her too much, I won't be able to finish this speech. I need to thank my family for supporting me this last decade. As I tried to find my way in this world, starting out as a broke, albeit ambitious, college grad, I started my career with Optavise living in my parents' basement. That's where I was, and they supported me along the way, and I'm forever thankful for them. I want to start with Optavise, just in general. Man, this opportunity, this career, how awesome is it, guys? How awesome is this? I tell you what, I always knew I wanted to do something great. I didn't know what it was going to be, what the vehicle was, and I'm just so thankful for the opportunities Optavise has provided me and my family and my future family. I need to thank Richard Schaefer, Linda Teets, Tom Blackburn, my friend Ryan Walker, for your mentorship and guidance. Some of you for many years, some of you for a couple of years, but it's been important. I want to thank Scott Willard for the journey we're about to go on, brother. It's going to be a big one, and I appreciate you. As far as the folks I've worked with, I'm going to start way back. My first two mentors, Mike Zock and Troy Riley. I still remember my first meet and greet with my district manager. I was lucky enough that Mike Zock, the state manager, was actually in attendance, or otherwise I probably wouldn't be here today, truthfully. Of course, my regional manager, Troy Riley, he taught me so much about how to talk to customers, how to schedule enrollments, really the basics about this business. Troy's a great person and a friend, and I know everyone who now gets to work with him in Florida will soon feel the same way. Thank you, Troy. I want to thank my uncle, Phil Brandes, who isn't here and will probably never hear this speech, truthfully. But when I just started my career with Optavise, he gave me a shot to work with his employees in a big family car dealership. The success I had from that opportunity gave me confidence and maybe put me on Mike Foster's radar for future opportunities. As many of you probably know, sometimes family and friends are the most difficult people to get to believe in you, especially when you start a new career. And that belief and opportunity from Phil is something I'll always be grateful for. Speaking of Mike Foster, where are you at, Mike? Thank you, man. I was 23 years old, 6 months as a manager. And you saw something in me and gave me a shot. I'll never forget, in true Mike fashion, Mike was talking to me. We used to have these summer sales summits. And he told me there was an opportunity in South Florida. I had 2 weeks to decide and move if I wanted it. I said yes. Michaela was still in college at the time, so she transferred to FAU down in South Florida. She was bartending on the weekends. I was trying to get her to join Optavise, but I couldn't. She kept saying, no, I don't think it's for me. I told that to Mike one day, and lo and behold, a month later, he had sourced my wife. Mike always was the best closer in the room. When I first started in Florida, my state manager at the time called me a Mike Foster wannabe, which I actually took as a great compliment. My family noticed I started calling them Sunshine. having what we would call impactful conversations, and even posing in every photo with a thumbs up. But in all seriousness, Mike has been a great support system, guide to what's possible in this business, both personally and professionally. And I know if there's ever something that I really don't understand, a decision just doesn't seem to make sense, I can count on Mike to give me the look like, I don't know what to tell you, and point his finger at Scotty. You know, with Scotty, though, you can never be mad at him. Not only is he field president, but he has a unique way to make you feel special. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with Scotty where I'm upset about this or I have an issue with that, and even though he seems to agree with everything I'm saying during the conversation about that situation, I somehow come out of this talk positive, excited, and my mind completely changed on whatever we're talking about. You know, but really, Scotty, thanks for the support and guidance these last 10 years. You know, I'm looking forward to working even closer with you in this new role. I had more to say about Scotty, but I don't want people to think I'm just sucking up to him now that he's my direct supervisor. So I'll only just say one more thing. Scotty, we saw your Mission Impossible video, and we all heard you Tuesday night, and no matter what anyone says, I agree with you, you are the much better looking Tom Cruise. I started working with Todd Lauer in 2017, and I'm sure as none of you know, Todd and I have an interesting relationship. We've butted heads a few times, but when reflecting on it, I guess that's what you get when you put two of the most ambitious, opinionated, and strong-willed people in the same organization. Todd, we could maybe blame Mike and Scotty for their lack of foresight, but when you look at the success we've had together, where we are now versus where we both were when we started working together, I guess you could say they got it right. I appreciate you and thank you for fighting this fight with me the last 8 years. Now let's turn to the best team in history. No, not the Lakers, not the Yankees, not the Patriots, or no, Foster, not the Chiefs. Not even the Buckeyes. I'm talking about the Golden Gators. First, I want to thank people who aren't here but had a tremendous impact over the years in our dynastic run. Mohamed Chaudhry, Marlene Roncano, Jojo Vathleo, and Steve Valley, thank each of you. Thank you, Dennis Arvidsson. You're the type of person you want in your corner. One of the original groups from our first iteration of the South Florida team in 2015. I appreciate you, Dennis. Thank you, Josh Pickens. I don't know where you're at, but I know when we spoke in 2018 that something special would happen if you made the move to Florida, and boy, has it been special. Thank you, Shea Ferreira. I know we heard on Tuesday that a new mountaintop was $600K for personal production. And yes, while that may be the upper echelon, the peak, the record, is over $700,000, which you hit twice while being a part of this team. You're amazing. Thank you, Liana Castellano and Andrea Draper. You both moved to Florida when I came back in 2018 and made huge impacts in this organization, but in different ways. Andrea opening great opportunities for the team, Liana leading from the front in production, managing one of the most important accounts we have in South Florida, and of course introducing the Optavise career to a two-time district manager of the year in Anthony Molina, and now a rookie of the year in Brianna Scala. Thank you both. Thank you, Rose Halleck. Rose, I'm so glad you didn't stop doing this to go sell windows door to door. You know, 2 straight years later, agent and producer of the year. You know, it doesn't matter what type of customer you're in front of. As you say so well, you always leave that conversation with a friend and, of course, a sale. I want to thank Sam Urban. You know, Sam, you care so much about the business and your people. I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of people in this organization over the years, and I still haven't met a more organized and process-driven manager. Your hard work is extremely appreciated. Thank you, Sam. I want to thank Anthony Molina. Anthony, man, it's been fun to watch you be successful and make it happen. I want you to know, Anthony, I believe in you, and I believe in what you're going to continue to do in your career. You've got a special future ahead of you. I've got to thank Fraser Lee. Fraser, where you at? There you are, Fraser. You believed, Fraser, in what we were doing. You made a huge commitment and jump. You know, you were a successful district manager in another territory, and you came to take over a still developing team in Central Florida, and you crushed it. I still can't tell when you're joking or not. but I know you're serious about your people and their success, which has been my favorite thing I've learned about you this past year working together. Thank you. Thank you, Tucker. You know, it's hard to find someone who wants to win as much as you do. And I know everyone says they want to win, but those of you who know Tucker know exactly what I mean. You know, Tucker, you've sacrificed and achieved so much in the 5 years we've worked together. I know we joke about it a lot, but I had no doubt the outcome would be this level of success when you joined the team in 2019. You and I know it's more than that. It's life, it's growth, it's the journey we're on together, man. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And finally, I want to thank you to the rest of the Golden Gator team. You guys are champions. I couldn't thank everyone, or Linda told me she'd turn the lights on and get me off stage. But honestly, it couldn't have been more fitting to spend this final time up here thanking all of you tonight, because it's always been a team award. This isn't about Michael Hogan, it's about each of you and what we've accomplished together. Now I get to pass this torch and pick up a new one. You know, one thing I can promise each of you in the audience tonight is yes, we will be working together soon, and yes, we will continue to all win as an Optavise organization. As always, the best is yet to come. Thank you, guys.